What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the new video. Today we're going to be talking about how I went from training with gloves to training without gloves. So sit back, relax, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. So let's start with a bit of backstory. So I started training calisthenics about 3 years ago, and obviously when you start training you will be spending a lot of your time hanging on a bar, and in the beginning, I did not want to use gloves at all. The reason for that being is because in the calisthenics scene, people look down on people that use gloves because it's kind of considered cheating in a way. So that's kind of why I was determined to not use gloves. Until about a couple months later, I had a conversation with my sister, and she pointed out that my hands were falling apart. Like, obviously when you train for a while you're going to develop calluses, and it got to the point where you could literally peel the skin from my hands, and she was like, that's disgusting, just, you know, use gloves and that will stop. And basically what I did, I went online, bought gloves, and used gloves ever since, until obviously recently, because as you guys can tell from the title of this video, I stopped using gloves when I was training. And the reason for that being is because when you use gloves, your body is used to using gloves. So the skin on your hands is not very thick. Your hands will not adapt to that stimulus. So your skin on your hands, you can kind of consider as baby skin because it never had a reason to adapt. Now, that is not a bad thing, but the problem is that when you always use gloves, you will come to a point where you will depend on them and you won't be able to train without them. And that was kind of a point where I was at. I mean, I could hang on a bar with like one arm quite easily with gloves, but like once I took them off, I could not hold on to the bar with one hand. And if you know anything about calisthenics, hanging on a bar with one hand is considered one of the most basic things that you should be able to do. And I was kind of worried. I was like, shit, I am starting to depend on my gloves for grip strength, and that's kind of why I wanted to change that stuff. So how did I do it? Basically what I started doing is I started to not use gloves in the later part of my workout when I was doing easier exercises. So at the end of my workouts I was doing pull-ups, I was doing bodyweight rows, all that kind of stuff. The reason I started leaving out my gloves on those exercises was because the grip strength required to do those exercises is relatively low. So basically I just started doing these exercises without gloves, and as the weeks progressed I basically used my gloves less and less and less by doing more and more exercises without gloves, up to the point where I am now, where I can do my entire workout without gloves. So I did it very, very slowly and very, very gradually, to make sure that I didn't absolutely rip my hands apart. Because if you're not used to training without gloves, your hands will take a massive beating. And this is also exactly what happened in that period of time when I was trying to go from using gloves to not using gloves. So in that time of like a few weeks, my calluses on my hands were ridiculous. It got to the point where I was in my dad's car, we were driving somewhere, and my dad looked at my hands, and literally on every single phalanx of my hands, so here, 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 and even like my fingertips, you could peel off the skin of my hands without any effort at all. And also when I got out of the shower, and for people that have calluses, like when you come out of the shower, it is at its worst. You could literally see my skin being white literally all the way up my fingers, and I mean, it was insane. And also, like, when I was training, I would have some serious pain on my hands because, again, your hands are not used to it, and you go from your hands having protection to your hands being absolutely ripped to shreds every single time that you train. So during that period my calluses were ridiculous. But as you guys can see now, after a few months or weeks of that, it actually is got to the point now where my calluses are actually like quite minimal. I don't know if you guys can see it, but like here and here. I mean, I can still peel off some skin, and like, you know, when I'm done with training, my calluses are definitely there, but they are definitely not so prominent as they were during that period of time. And during that period of time, I was definitely thinking like I should just, you know, get back to using gloves because it is getting absolutely ridiculous. But I kind of, for some reason, just pushed through. I was like, I'm gonna have to do this someday, so I might just do it now and just get rid of it. So now I am at the point where I don't have to use gloves to work out, and that is a really good feeling, that I don't depend anymore on gloves. My grip strength has improved ridiculously, and as I just said, the calluses over time definitely went away. I mean, they're definitely there, they're just really not as prominent as they were during those few months of training. So in my opinion, only good things have come from this experience, and if you guys are still using gloves, definitely consider not using them, because you're again gonna get to the point where you will need them to train, and they are no longer a accessory. So yeah, I think that was the video. So hope you guys enjoyed it, hope you guys took something away from this video. If you want to help me out, drop a like on the video, leave suggestions in the description box down below on videos that you want to see. If you have any tips on how to improve my content, that will be very appreciated. But for now, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I see you guys next time.